Yo, what's going on,
Yo,
AIM
what's
Squad?
going on, AIM Squad? Welcome back. Week 12.
What a week of 11.
Whew.
It was a very interesting
Yeah,
week 11 indeed.
it was a very interesting week 11.
We had, we officially have no more undefeated teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I know.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. But hey, good things have to come to an end.
That's it. Hopefully,
And-
Patty enjoyed it while he could.
And there you go. And he's got to move on from there
Yep.
and just get better. And let's go. Week 12. Let's just get it started. Let's just get into it.
Let's do it. So, how do we do? So, coming into this Sunday,
Yes.
our records are respectively, Ulner and I. Ulner, you were 11, 16, and 3.
Yep.
I was 14, 13, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our 3 games.
Yeah.
So we had all divisionals,
Yeah.
which
all
was great.
No, like one wasn't.
Oh, sorry, one wasn't.
No,
Apologies.
two of them. We only one divisional game.
Oh, one divisional.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Two were this. Yeah.
This one. We had the Baltimore-Pittsburgh
Yeah.
as divisional. So the first one was divisional, and
Yes.
the other two were not. But they were some interesting games. But we had Baltimore visiting Pittsburgh. Baltimore was favored -3.
Yeah.
We had KC and Buffalo, and we had Houston and Dallas.
Yes.
So big games all across the windows.
Mm-hmm.
We had early window Sunday, late window Sunday, and then prime time Monday.
Yes.
Ulner, let me throw it to you first. What did we do? How did we do? What was your takeaway? What was going on with it, man?
So first game, we'll go into it. We had Baltimore-Pittsburgh. What a game.
Big game, yeah.
Big game. The trend still continues. That game is always within one possession.
Yes.
They don't like each other.
Nope.
They just some gritty football. It's amazing football. But Baltimore wasn't Baltimore.
No.
They came out against big teams and they come to play. But Kansas City, they came out to play week 1.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh, yes, Pittsburgh has their number. But Baltimore didn't come out and play Baltimore football.
No.
MVP Lamar Jackson wasn't really MVP Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry fumbled the football on the first play.
Yeah.
And it just, from then on, you knew something was not right with this team.
No, not at all.
And they had opportunities. Tucker missed, 2 field goals?
Yeah.
Tucker
Yeah.
missed 2 field goals
Yeah.
early where it was just like, hey, this is unheard of.
And this was less than the 40-yard, I believe.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be money, and just Pittsburgh came out. They played a game. Boswell came in, had 2 field goals, was up. Couple of sacks were there. The defense was high.
Yeah.
And then Derrick Henry finally got a touchdown. But on that drive too, right? The only reason they got there was because of Patrick Queen penalty.
Yep.
On that drive, they were backed up.
The
and
ref essentially helped
yeah,
them.
ref helped them on that one. They got down, scored a touchdown. But after that, they couldn't score till at the end. Zay Flowers, and then that 2-point conversion, that they had.
Yeah.
They called the play, and then it was just a weird play. Like, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot of the play calling was a little suspect to be honest, because it almost wasn't like the traditional Ravens offense that we are accustomed to seeing.
It's like they were afraid to
Yeah.
do their schemes, their plays, or try something different. Where it's like that's what Baltimore is. Baltimore tries different things.
Yeah.
Put out different schemes. Will trap you. Make different disguises. Be able to get the football in their hands. They needed that 2-point conversion right at the end.
Yeah.
With 1 minute and 11 seconds left in the game, and they just couldn't get
They couldn't do it.
And Baltimore couldn't cover the spread.
They couldn't do it.
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
came out, won outright, covered the spread +3. I took a loss on that one. Pittsburgh still continues the trend, still owns Baltimore, and now they lead the division.
Yeah, they have the bragging rights
Yeah.
on number 1, which, I mean, it was a tough game, and like Ulner said, it was a Baltimore team that is not the Baltimore that we've seen, and on average they score about 30 points a game.
Yeah.
They were barely able to score 16. So, as we said, Pittsburgh covered. I fortunately made the call there, so Pittsburgh did hit. So I have 1-0 on that one.
And there we go, yeah.
Which gets us to our second big matchup, which was the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
A potential matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs and the Bills. So we had the Bills favored -1.5. Both Ulner and I called +1.5. And after that game, it was tough.
It was tough to swallow that one, too.
But we both took an L
yeah.
because Buffalo, I mean, we thought Casey would make a push at the end.
We thought
in Patty
they would.
Mahomes fashion.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Josh Allen, Bills Mafia was too much for them. And they actually held it down.
Well, they own, like they said, right? Josh Allen likes beating KC in the regular season.
Yeah, he had their number.
3-0 on them. So
Yeah.
it's all about playoffs, what really matters. So Mahomes can sit there and laugh and say, yeah, okay, regular season's all yours. Sure, no problem. You can go win MVP award, go do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
When playoff time comes where it matters, where we're trying to go for the Super Bowl, hey, you better watch out because I'm bringing my full-on A game.
Yeah.
I'm not trying something different. So,
And that's exactly what happened.
just, it was just back and forth. KC, yeah, they had a couple plays. Worthy stepped out of bounds.
Yeah,
That
it's
one
tough,
play,
yeah.
he's wide open. It's tough. Rookie mistakes. It's sure they're learning. But Hopkins was there too. They had a couple of connections. But
Yeah.
first play again. All these games were about first place. First possession KC got. Patty Holmes to a pick.
Yeah.
And from then on, you knew, something's not right here. And it didn't fall in their favor.
Yeah.
And KC got their first last season by 9. Lost by 9.
It was tough because had they actually scored a touchdown
Yeah.
and that 2-point conversion,
Yeah.
it would have actually been a plus one.
Yeah, exactly.
But we both take the L on that one because we both called the plus 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like to bet against Patty, but it is what it is. Which leads us to our last Monday night
Yes.
primetime game. This was the Houston Texans visiting a very damaged and battered Dallas Cowboys, America's team. And, of course, both being in the state of Texas, it was practically a home game for both people. I thought maybe Dallas could pull some cohesion playing as a team, and I called plus 7.5. Ulner, you called minus 7.5. And obviously Houston covered.
Yeah, they came out, they played. Hey, listen, it was a tight game early on. Don't get it wrong. Like, Houston was up 14-0 first quarter. Sure. Okay. Dallas came back, right? Got a touchdown, made it close within 1. Kicked a field goal, got another field goal. By the end of the half, it was 17-10.
Yeah.
They were covering the spread. And you were like, okay, cool, there's a chance. Houston goes down, kicks a field goal in the third quarter. That was the only points of the third quarter. You're looking at 20-10. You need one score.
Yeah.
A field goal would have covered it. But Dallas had to just go for it on 4th down. 4th and 1, they went for it. Cooper Rush couldn't make the play.
Yeah.
They were short. The running game was a disaster for Dallas.
So bad.
They could not run their ball to save their life. CeeDee Lamb had, more rushing yards. Like he had one rush for 13 yards himself.
Yeah.
And you have running back Dowdle, who starts with 10 attempts for only 28 yards. He was going backwards. Zeke didn't even show up. He had one rushing attempt for 8 yards.
Trash.
And that whole team they don't know how to run the football. They tried to throw. CeeDee Lamb had 93 yards. Turpin had 86. But other than that, Rush got sacked 5 times.
Yeah. I mean, they're still bad. They're trying to figure themselves out. And the Russ was shut down. It forced the throw. The throw was limited.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't keep running the same play to CD or Turpin. You got to change it up. And they just had nothing to change up to.
Nothing to change up to. Houston came down, got a couple of scores, and then their defense stepped up at the end.
That's it.
Sacked them, fumble, picked it up.
Yeah.
And they scored, and that was just, the icing on the cake. And they said, hey, we're just like every other team. You say you guys are America's team, Dallas Cowboys, we're going to come on and embarrass you.
Yep.
Yes, you don't have your all-star or your, best player, your quarterback that you paid so much for. But, hey, we're going to come down and throw it and make you guys recognize, hey, listen, you want to be America's team.
Yep.
You got to play as America's team.
And this was the price that was paid because they didn't cover and they lost again at home. In Arlington. So, unfortunately,
You don't have a win at home.
0.
You
Take
heard?
that in.
I heard they're the only team in any major sport that doesn't have a home win.
Yeah, take that in.
Wow, and they're America's team. Out of all American major sports, they're the only team that doesn't have a home win.
And that's why I'm saying I think it's time for Jerry Jones to let go of the reins.
Yeah.
I think it's time for him to sell it. He was great at
Sell
marketing.
to Trump.
I mean, he could. I mean, hey, at this point, you need someone who can market it because I think Jerry Jones marketed it as America's team. But the reality of it is they're not America's team anymore. They're not, right? They're not playing like America's team.
No.
They're not even playing second America's team. This
Nowhere close.
Nowhere close,
near.
right? But hey, this is what it is. Ulner, you called Houston minus 7.5. They hit, which brings our record for Week 11 Sunday Night Football to the same. We were both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Not the greatest, but hey, our overall records definitely, we're definitely getting up there. Ulner, you're at 12, 18, and 3. I'm still 500 at 15, 15, and 3. But let's get into our lays.
Let's go.
So our props. First one up, we had anytime TD. C-Mac, we thought the second game back after the rust, he was going to get the anytime TD. Unfortunately, he didn't hit. So we missed that one, unfortunately. But how do we do on the parlay?
Parlay, listen, hey, it was close. It was there. We had 3 legs, really good 3 legs. First leg, we had Minnesota money line. Vikings came out, played a good game against, Tennessee. Was Tennessee they played? They played Tennessee. Came out, won by 10, It was a scary one, though, close. Tennessee was keeping it close, but Minnesota came back, got the W there. We hit that. Then we had Jared Goff to have 2 or more passing touchdowns. Yes, we had Montgomery run for 2 and Gibbs run for 1. Then we're like, oh, my God. This game's over. Is
No.
Goff even going to throw? Goff said, nope, we're the Detroit Lions. We come and we roar and we score. They came out throwing. I think he threw for like 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns.
That was a wild game. Like he racked that score up like 52-6.
He threw for 4 touchdowns and the running backs had 3. Like that for 412 yards. He only missed 5 completions. He was 24 for 29.
That's wild.
That's ridiculous. And then we had our last leg. We had Kyron Williams to find the end zone. Now, he hasn't found the end zone in a while. We thought this is going to be the game where he's going to come back. You know, you have Cooper Kupp, you have Puka Nacua out there. Both of them going to get double team, would leave the middle open. Yeah. But Stafford just felt like his old self again and just started throwing the football.
Yep.
And against this New England team, who also kept it close, you would think Kyron Williams would kind of run it out. He had 86 rushing yards. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, he played nice, but
he was efficient. You know,
but
he was
Matthew
efficient.
Stafford, you know, tied Goff 4 touchdowns himself too.
Yeah, he's like, I want the ball today.
I want the ball today. Puka Nacua 123 yards, Kupp 106. So the running game wasn't
and 2
there.
touchdowns. There you
and
go.
2 touchdowns. But hey, we took a loss on that one. It's always like the ones that we always feel like should be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just doesn't affect us. But it's okay. We have next week and Thursday coming up.
But before we leave Sunday.
Oh, yeah. What was something we accomplished on Sunday?
We have created our all-time high here at AIM Sports for our daily fantasy lineup.
Yes.
So if you guys tailed us, you guys definitely ate because this was the highest we've ever gotten. We were almost to the 200 mark.
Yeah.
So our quarterback, for quick remembrance, we had Purdy.
Yes.
He picked up a nice 18.4 points. And our 2 running backs, we had Breece Hall and Joe Mixon.
Yeah, like they went on a tear.
Each one of them killed it. 31.1 points and 35.3 points. And we're just at the first 2 positions.
Yeah.
Our wide receivers. Honor.
Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
And we know Jared Goff threw.
Yes.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown was the recipient for some of those touchdowns.
Yes, he was.
Picked up a juicy 38.7. JJ, still underwhelming for his caliber, but picked up a applaudable 14.1.
Yeah, exactly.
Kelsey,
under the weather.
Yeah, a little underwhelming there. I mean, we figure maybe, Taylor Swift being, over the border from Buffalo to Toronto might help. But no, 2.8 points. I think he wanted to be at the concert himself.
Yeah.
But luckily, our defense stepped up with the Houston Texans over the Cowboys. A healthy 17 points. But McPherson,
hey, got 7 points for us. He could have had more. Bought some kicks against, the Chargers Sunday night. But hey,
still close 7.
Still 7, hey.
Still
Wasn't
7.
Negative or below, so
we'll take
7 is there, which racked up a total of how much, your shot?
164.4 fantasy points. This is an all-time high.
Yes.
Like, guys, you would have had to tail us. You would have probably been top 5 in your league with this lineup here. This was huge. So, 164. Though we didn't hit our parlay and we're anytime TD, this definitely hit. Fantasy, that hit. So there you go. That's it for Sunday, Week 11. We're done wiping our hands with it. And now moving on to Week 12, Thursday Night Football. One more week away from Thanksgiving, 3-game Thursdays.
Yes.
But that's next week. So this week, though, we got our Thursday Night Football. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cleveland Browns. But as we know, our Thursday night records are different.
Yes.
So coming into this week, Ulner, you are 7-3.
Yeah.
Thursdays love you.
Yeah.
I'm 2-8.
Yeah.
Still working on the way up.
Yeah.
Apologies. That was last week. Sorry.
Yes.
So we're
7-4.
You're 7-4.
You're 3-8.
I'm 3-8.
Yeah, because you got the W
from Philly. So thank you, Mr. Saquon. So on the upswing, but can we continue that momentum? So Pittsburgh's favored -3.5.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football in Cleveland. Looking to be a very cold, rainy, snowing Cleveland weather. And right now, with Vegas calling -3.5. Oh no, I'm gonna throw it to you first. What's your call? And why?
Right now, looking at it, listen, Pittsburgh played Baltimore. A huge football game for the division to lead there. They played their heart and soul out of it. A tough game at home, and then they traveled. They traveled to Cleveland. Cleveland, on the other hand, took a loss to New Orleans. Pittsburgh gave it all. This is their second matchup out of three, which they play all three division games.
Yeah.
They played Baltimore last week, going to play Cleveland on Thursday, and next week they go play Cincy.
Yeah.
A win out here, clean slate, made the top of the division. They're in it. But a short week with a Pittsburgh team that played it at all, a Cleveland team that is surprising with Winston, and this is Winston's first divisional matchup taste.
Yeah.
Of like this division, and this division is like it's a tough division.
Tough division.
This division is all built of all teams are dogs.
Yeah.
Like just all of them are dogs, and you don't know what you expect from all of them.
Yeah.
But then we have Mr. Third Player.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Third Player, Brad Allen. Now, for those of you who don't know who Brad Allen is, Brad Allen refed last Sunday's game. Was past Sunday's game against the Chargers and Cincy. Brad Allen likes home teams.
Loves them.
Coming into that game last week, he was 74, 53, and 1. Home teams were on the money line. After last week, he got another W, 75, 53, and 1. That's just money line. Against the spread, he was 69, 56, and 3 against the spread. After last week, Chargers covered, he is now 70, 56, and 3 against the spread since 2016. And on top of it, too, Brad Allen calls more flags and more penalties. Those more flags and calls more penalties on the road team compared to the home team. And he loves home dogs. Like, he enjoys home dogs here. Now, with the snow, with the weather being a whole windy and cold, it would favor Cleveland because it is their home field.
Yeah.
But you have Pittsburgh coming in, who likes to run. Wilson's, first also showdown too in this division. This is going to be a fun game. But then you have the public. The public is all over Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Public is all over Pittsburgh. Tomlin doesn't like Thursday night football.
No.
Pittsburgh Steelers, in fact, themselves don't like Thursday night football.
No.
And if it's a division game, out the window.
Yeah.
They haven't won a game in division.
Under Mike.
Under Mike.
Yeah.
On a Thursday night football game in division, they're 0-7 straight up. 1-6 against the spread. Which is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then Tomlin himself is 2-8 straight up on the road on Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Just aside from it. So with Tomlin, yes, beating Baltimore, everyone's gonna be on the upside. Now you have him playing Cleveland this week and Cincy next week.
Yeah.
I personally feel the win against Cincy is more promising and beneficial for them than to play Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because you rather get Cleveland a W here, beat Cincy, be on top of the division. You don't get to see Cincy. You may not see Baltimore in the playoffs. Yes, you win now, you lose next week. It's too much to win, too much to lose.
Yeah.
I like the dog pound here. I'm taking the home dogs. I'm fading the public. It's like 78% on Pittsburgh, and you have 22% on Cleveland. Even though, yes, Cleveland is bad, I believe in Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
He's going to give one of his memorable speech tomorrow. Tomorrow night, they're going to play in the snow. It's going to be a boring game, but it's going to be a fun game of just slips and falls and fumbles and just handing off to the running back and just back and forth, just old school nonsense football. It's like backyard football. It's going to be like. But yeah, Cleveland taking the dog pound plus 3.5. I like the dogs.
Yeah.
And one thing to mention, Irshad, I've been noticing since week 7, there's been a pattern here on Thursday night football. Week 7, we had Denver versus New Orleans.
Yep.
That was the first game where you broke your curse.
Yep.
Where your goose egg went to 1.
Yes.
Because you took Denver and I had New Orleans, and New Orleans was a dog without Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So there was that one. Then that was week 7. Week 8, we had Minnesota and the Rams. The Rams covered on that one as a dog. So it's favored dog. Week 9, you had the Jets beating up Houston. They were favored. Week 10, you go into Cincy, Baltimore. Cincy covered the spread. They may not want the game, but they covered the spread, and Baltimore was favored.
Yeah.
So that was another dog right there. You go to last week where you got your next W as well, too. You picked the favorite, Eagles. They cover the spread. Now we're going into week 12, looking at a pattern. I'm saying dog.
Dog.
Take the dog pound. Woo. Like, take them, yes.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? Like, I think you brought up a lot of interesting things, especially with that pattern. I think you definitely have, the alternate pattern. You have Mike Tomlin's underwhelming career.
Yeah.
Right? Just generally all time against the spread. Now, one thing it's important to note is, of course, the Mr. Third Player referee favors the home teams. Favors the home teams who are underdogs.
Yes.
So that right there helps.
Yes.
Now, we know Russell Wilson, in his career, he's 24-7-3 against the spread. okay? But this is his time with the Seahawks, right? You got to keep in mind, like, this was during his prime. He's past his prime now, right? Since then, since after leaving Seahawks, he's 9-16 in night games against the spread, okay? Which is tough. Mind you, this year, he is 2-0 straight up against the spread in night games. But who did he beat, Ulner? Beat the Jets and the Giants.
Like,
at home in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So you have the home advantage against two underwhelming teams that don't necessarily deserve an applause to beat them because you should beat them. All right? At the same token, like we know this, Jameis Winston has been, of course, it's tight games. He is 19-31-3 against the spread when the spread is 4 or fewer points either way. Okay? So it does make it a tough game. However, within 3.5 points, a referee that's favored to you, you've lost in New Orleans, you've come back home, it kind of resets a lot of things here. And I think the Browns are gonna be able to come out ahead a little bit more here, right? We also know that, Ulner, you mentioned tomorrow is going to be a little bit colder. It's going to be slushier, going to be rainier. So the over-under, as a result, is 36.5. We don't imagine it to be a high-scoring game. You said it's going to be a boring game. I agree. It's going to probably be on the slower end of things, for sure. But you factor in post-prime quarterback, Mike Tomlin, who doesn't fare well when it comes to night games, divisional night Thursday night games. Plus, you have the Pittsburgh franchise as a whole kind of lackluster when it comes to Thursdays. But at the same token, Steelers, teams coming off, so Steelers particularly, they obviously beat the underdogs last week, right? They're as underdogs last week. They beat the Ravens, right? So they were dogs. But since 2003, teams coming off a straight up win as underdogs who are on short rest, which the Steelers are tomorrow, are just 98, 126, and 10 against the spread. Which means, and tomorrow, I mean, reality of it is it's 0.5. So there's going to be a winner or a loser tomorrow.
Yes.
So they're 98 and 126. So only 44% of the time have they covered the spread. I mean, this goes to show that all the signs are pointing, especially with the referee, to the home team. So, Ulner, you know what? I think this is going to be one of those semi-upset Cinderella stories that we talked about before. That there's certain teams that know they aren't making the playoffs.
Yes.
But they like to play. But spoilers. And I think tomorrow, the Browns are doing that. So I'm calling, also with you, my man, the Dogs plus 3.5.
Dog pound. Let's go.
Cleveland Browns. Lock it in. You heard it here.
You know, I liked what you said there too. At the same time too, if Pittsburgh locks it up, it kind of sucks for Baltimore, and I feel like that division should go down like to the wire.
Yeah,
it should go down super down to the wire. Pittsburgh, I feel like, should be playing like in a wild card spot or somewhere in there, but not being first. And it's gonna be a tough one because Pittsburgh has a tough schedule ahead of them too.
They do.
I don't know. I just want to see Baltimore finish up top so they don't have to play KC early.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if that's what that's what it's already scripted or that's what it is, then sure, so be it. But yeah, dog pound tomorrow plus 3.5. Me and my brother are riding together.
Yep.
He's gonna get another one by next week. He's gonna be 4-8. I'm gonna be 8-4. We're gonna be right there with each other.
Let's get it.
Dog pound.
That's it. You heard it here. So lock it in. Plus 3.5. Thursday night football, prime time. And you know what? This is gonna be a good game. I mean, slow game. But it's gonna be a good game. Which means we move on to one of our other elements of Thursday night football.
Yes.
Which is our parlays and our anytime props and our fantasy. So let's get it started with our anytime TD. Ulner, who are you taking for tomorrow?
So this defense here is really poor. They're at the bottom of the league. After they lost one of their star linemen, and they just can't stop the run.
Yeah.
And they're a team where the weather is going to favor the run tomorrow. It's going to be cold, slushy, maybe even a screen pass, something short. I don't see teams going long, But at a nice, juicy 2.2 times your money, we got Najee Harris finding the end zone.
Done and done.
Like I feel like he's the focal point.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is not, like your shot you were mentioning, not his prime self. He's not gonna want to run in the snow.
No.
You're gonna give it to the running back. Hence why he's called the running back, to run the football and make plays for your team, get the first down, get those yardages, and there should be at least one touchdown.
Yeah.
Right. So Najee Harris 2.2, lock it in. We love it. We hope you guys too. Tail it. Let's go eat.
Let's do it. Mix it to our parlay.
Yes.
Now, with this one, we obviously Vegas is called less than 36.5 points or 36.5 over under.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cold game.
And Brad Allen loves the under too.
Brad Allen loves the under.
He's what? Brad Allen is 73 and 56
on the under
since 2016.
Look at that. It's not even close. He practically favors the under. So, in the game tomorrow, one of the legs that we're taking is both teams do not score 20 points.
Yeah.
Both teams. One can, that's great.
Sure.
But both cannot score the 20 points. And given the post-prime Wilson, the turmoil that Tomlin and Steelers have, I don't think they're pushing tomorrow past 20. Obviously, we know the offense from the Browns isn't the hottest in the league. I don't think they're pushing past the 20, so that's a first leg.
You probably should have a 13-10 game tomorrow or something like that. But
I mean, it's funny you mentioned Ulner because the last time they played, Cleveland actually won 13-10.
Oh, no way. There we go.
In November 2023. So it's funny you mentioned that because we anticipate something similar.
There you go. And then our next leg we have is, we said it's going to be a running game. We got both star running backs. We got Najee Harris and Nick Chubb to rush for 50 yards apiece.
There you go. So we got each of the respective legs. Over 50 for Chubb.
Over 50 for Najee.
And that's it. Both teams do not score 20.
It makes sense, right? They're going to run the football. It's going to be a slow game. They both have to run 50 yards each. Are they both scoring 20 points? No. You put all that together, 3.4 times your money.
Yeah.
That's juicy.
Juicy.
Like.
And I mean, the reality of it is, it's going to be a slow game.
Yeah.
Ball security is going to be key. And for anybody who's played sports outside in the cold, you take one or two hits, especially to your hand, your hand's going to hurt.
Exactly.
And the reality of it is you might not be able to throw properly.
And you got the referee too.
And you got the referee.
Likes the under, calls the flags.
Yeah.
You know, it's the stats show it.
Yeah.
We're riding it. 3.4, lock it in.
Lock it in. And that's that. And then we have our last, keeping up our hot hand from fantasy. We're hoping to stay hot. So our fantasy lineup, we have, one position.
Yeah.
One player.
Yep.
One of either one, the best player from each position. So quarterback, Ulner, who we taking, Winston or Wilson?
We got Winston here.
Lock it in.
Winston, lock it in. Feel like he's gonna, have the legs that Wilson may not have.
Yeah.
He's gonna run the football. His speech is obviously gonna be immaculate. He's gonna come and have some fun with it.
Yep.
He's gonna be fired up. A little chuck down to Chubb. To Judy, to Njoku. He's gonna have fun with it, and they're gonna play some small football there. But we feel he's gonna get the highest points. These are still a running back.
Running back's gonna be between Najee or Chubb, and we're taking Najee.
Well, Najee's on a trending, so
you may as well. So that's it.
Right,
whether or not Pittsburgh wins is not the question here.
Yes,
but we do anticipate Najee's gonna be part of the big offense here. And then for wide receiver, who do we have?
We got Mr. Pickens. We got Mr. I'm always open.
Yeah.
When he's not open, he's open. And Russell Wilson, that's gonna be security blanket. They're gonna need that first down. He's going to throw the ball to Pickens, maybe a wide receiver screen, let him run the football.
Yep.
And, Pickens is versatile. Once he gets an open field, hey, you better watch out. It's dangerous.
Good. That's it. And I tight end, Ulner, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Winston may not be able to send it far sometimes. He can send on the checkdowns to our tight end, Njoku.
Yep.
It's going to be simple. After Jerry Jeudy, Njoku's next in line for receiving. So we feel like he's going to play a big role tomorrow, especially if the Colts starts hitting. May not be able to have the strength to strand it away. Njoku's going to be benefactor.
For sure.
Who's our defense?
Pittsburgh defense. You cannot count out TJ Watt. Patrick Queen. That defense is that black and yellow defense is always lethal.
Oh yeah.
They've always been lethal. And against his Browns team that hopefully don't explode on themselves, but that Pittsburgh defense is going to keep their team. Even with Tomlin bad record, Russell Wilson not being his prime self, that defense is going to keep them in the game. And I think they're going to be the X factor. They're going to make a play or two to either make it or break it for them.
Yeah, and that's that. And I think you're a kicker, which, makes sense. You have a good defense from Pittsburgh. You're going to have a good kicker from Pittsburgh. It's a 3.5 game. So it's going to be a matter of a kick or two.
Yeah.
And we anticipate Boswell being the difference maker when it comes to kicks.
There you go.
So you heard it here. Thursday Night Football. To do a recap.
Yes.
Let's do it. So Pittsburgh and Cleveland tomorrow.
Yes.
Ulner and I are both calling the underdog Cleveland plus
Yes.
3.5. And then our anytime touchdown, Najee Harris.
Let's
lock it in.
go.
Ulner.
3-leg parlay. Nick Chubb and Najee Harris both to rush over 50 yards and both teams to not score 20 points. 3.4 times a unit. Lock it in. Earshot, tell him fantasy.
Yo, we have Winston as our quarterback. Najee as our running back. Pickens as our wide receiver. Njoku for tight end. Pittsburgh for our defense. And Boswell for our kicker. Lock that in. Hot hand off the fantasy.
Hot hand. Let's go.
You heard it here. AIM Sports Gang.
Yes. Watch the game tomorrow. Bark with the dog pound.
That's
Let's
it.
go get some money. Plus 3.5.
Wear some mittens. It's going to be a cold one.
Get your popcorn ready. Hot chocolate if you like the hot cocoa.
There you go.
Don't forget the marshmallows in it too. But let's enjoy some Thursday football. Oh, we forgot something.
What's that?
Oh, we've been forgetting this lately. We get so excited for Thursdays. We know that Sunday's coming up.
Oh, our games of interest.
Games of interest. We just leave people hanging, being like, oh, it's right there. Games of interest. I'll start it off right away.
Do it.
Sunday night, Eagles-Rams. Just beautiful game right there. You cannot say nothing about that. Sunday
Big
night, prime
game.
time.
Big game. I'm going to get off the second one here. I'm going to do San Fran and Green Bay.
Ooh, yeah, I like
That's going to be
too.
a good one. I mean, you got a solid Green Bay offense coming back with a C-Mac recovery.
Yeah, I'm going to go another one too. Since we like divisional games and all these close games, Arizona Cardinals and Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks came with a big one with San Fran. Arizona won 2-8. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of which, we got Detroit Lions and the Indianapolis Colts. A 1-2 cross-conference, cross-divisional matchup. This one just seems interesting just because Jared Goff's hot hand.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Oh, and you cannot forget Monday night, the Harbaugh Bowl. You got Baltimore Ravens and LA Chargers. They're going to come back. The last time they played each other was Baltimore San Fran.
Yep.
And you know which Harbaugh won that one.
Oh, yeah.
Monday night's going to be fun.
That's going to be a big game. Big game. And then one of the games that I'm thinking about, Ulner, is a divisional matchup.
Yeah.
Kind of underwhelming, but I got to say, Tennessee and Houston.
Ooh, okay.
Only because divisional matchups are always hit different.
Yeah, they do.
They you know what I mean? And really, Tennessee is 0-1 for the division.
Yeah, so...
I mean, this is the second game in the division. It could really go either way.
Either way. But yeah, there you guys have it. Games of the week. And once again, bark with the dog pound. Ooh, tomorrow, Browns plus 3.5.
Let's get it, Browns.
Let's go. But thank you guys for listening. We love you guys. We'll see you guys. We'll hear you guys on Saturday. See how we did. Hope you guys eat. And tune in next week.
Bet what you can afford. Have fun. Ride with us. Follow us. And stay tuned for Saturday for the next drop.
AIM Squad, we out.
Peace.